Fantastic. Welcome back to the Female Founder Unplugged podcast. I have a great guest with me here today. I have the CEO and founder of Definitive Style, Annette Bond, who is amazing. And what she does, I think, is really special. She shows smart, successful women how to feel completely confident in their own signature sense of style with a wardrobe that is really uniquely about them and their character and their confidence. Annette combines 30 years of style and image expertise with a certified image consultant and more alive color expert. So she really not only has been doing this for a while, she really brings the expertise, the chops with her. And I love that. Annette's work is so specialized and sought after. She's one of only 50 women in the US certified in the niche fashion feng shui. And she's going to tell us more about that today because I'm super curious about that. So, Annette, welcome. Thank you for being a guest today. I'm just so honored to have you with us.
Oh, thank you for the invitation, Lindsay. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Tell us about your journey as a female founder. How did you get into, this personal style piece? I'm super curious about that.
It's so we all have our own journey, right? And
Yeah.
I literally go back to as a young girl. My mom had me in sewing classes. My mom had me in like charm school. I always had this affinity as a young girl toward fashion, if you will.
Okay. Yeah,
And I
yeah.
remember making my own clothes because I knew what I wanted. So, fast forward, I ended up graduating in college with a marketing and communications, but went into fashion
Mm.
and started out working for an entrepreneurial family who owned several boutiques. And I feel so honored that in my 20s, I was able to really learn the ins and outs of the fashion industry within their boutiques. And
Yeah.
what I found really early is here I am, I'm a 20 some year old young woman, and I'm working with these really high professional women who came into the store
Yeah,
because it was
yeah.
a very more high end kind of boutique. And what they were looking for at the end of the day was confidence.
Yeah.
And so I picked up on that really quickly is yes, they wanted to be current. Yes, they wanted to be stylish, but more than anything, they wanted to be confident. And so kind of through about 20 years of doing many different things in that industry, about 12 years ago, I did start my own business. Definitive Style by Annette Bond. And I came into it, and I still remember this is I said, I'm going to start my business and I'm going to go with my strengths.
Yeah.
And so that's always been at the foundation of everything I've ever done. And I've just always had an affinity of working with women, of confidence. And then the personal style, and it all kind of wraps into marketing and communications and how do you speak? How do you speak without speaking and using your personal style in that sense?
I really like that because that's really the truth. I was just in a coaching conversation with a client and we were talking about, the nonverbals and
Yes.
how 80 greater than 80% of our communication is nonverbal. And so how you are dressed absolutely has an impact on how you show up in that nonverbal way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's kind of two sides to that. I don't know why I want to say yes, because sometimes I think I've come so far. People say, oh, just because I have this cute dress and I look amazing, I'm going to be confident. No,
Right.
that's a piece of it. But
Yeah.
I always say it starts in the closet the minute you get up and you decide, what am I going to wear? And we
Yeah.
have those thoughts and conversations that are going through our mind going, wow, I want to get up and I want to look amazing today and I want to feel great about myself. Or that other side of the brain goes, you know what? I'm just going to wear that, that black top, my black pants. You know what? I'm fine. And when we have those thoughts, I mean, it all starts with that
Yeah,
thought, right?
yeah,
And we come to the world like that. Is how are we talking about ourselves? How are
yeah.
we speaking about how we're showing up? And then it leads to the action of what am I going to wear today? And how is that aligned with how I'm feeling? So there's a lot of that kind of interesting that sometimes we don't always talk about when we show up, of where that starts.
No, I like that. I think I love your phrase, it starts in the closet, and it totally does. You get up in the morning, you walk to the closet, and what's sometimes the first thing you think is, "Oh, I've got a great new shirt to wear. I love that pink." Or, "I have nothing to wear." Like it absolutely that in and I mean, I work a lot with women on that internal dialogue. And
Yes.
so that really is some of the first things we say to ourselves in the morning,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It sets the tone.
Yes. Yes, it sets the tone. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and I think for so many of us, our work lives have shifted, right? Whether we're working in our own business or we're working in a larger organization, we're working more flexibly now, right? We're working in an office and at home. With an emphasis on being it. I mean, I've had a home office for years. And so I know how important it is to get up and get ready. And yes, to be comfortable, but also to feel great about what you're wearing. Even when you're working in a home environment, but particularly when you're working out of the house and you're working in an office, that's crucial to how you feel about yourself.
I was listening to another podcast this week, and it was something that was just reiterated to me is many people don't think about this, but our nonverbals, whether you know it or not, leak.
Yeah,
And
sure they do.
sometimes we try to, let's just fake it. Yeah, I feel great today. I feel confident today. But it does leak. I mean, just how you view the world for the day. And I think it's been a challenge of people deciding, because I'm at home, because I'm on Zoom, is does my personal style really matter? And
Yeah.
that's a big question that's
Yeah.
come up. I mean, I remember in 2020, I'm going to be super transparent,
Yeah.
is I remember thinking, oh my God, is anybody ever going to care about their clothing again? Is my
I'm
business
sure.
gone?
Yeah,
No, I'm serious,
I'm
because
sure.
we came to that place where it's like, I'm at home, it doesn't matter. And then, it was very interesting watching that journey, because women, it was kind of like, I called it's like a snow day. It was like being at home and it doesn't matter. And then people, it was fun for a while, and then people got tired of it, and then it was like, no, I miss that feeling of wearing my great dress, my great
Uh,
shoes, my great colors, or whatever that
yeah.
was for them. And it slowly started coming back. Yes.
I can, first of all, let me say, as an entrepreneur, as a founder, running your own business, I am sure, maybe even more than many of us, yeah, am I ever going to have a business? I built this thing. I love running it. Annette, you're clearly passionate about what you do. Is my business gone forever? I'm sure that was just horrifying.
Oh, it did, and I didn't let it. It was just for a fleeting moment, and you just had to keep moving forward. Oh, no, trust me, it did go through my mind. I mean, let's go back to 2020, and when they
Yeah.
were telling you could
Oh,
wear pajamas, and I was like,
oh
"Oh
no,
my gosh, no."
no, don't do it. The organization that I worked for, prior to starting my own coaching and consulting practice, we actually went to a results only work environment, sometime around 2005, 2006. And that meant that a great number of people could work very flexibly. And there was still in-office participation, and we always had a reasonable dress code, business casual. But we were very clear in planning and with people, not only about the space that they would need to work from home, because I think we all uncovered working from your kitchen table is not conducive to doing great work. And
Mhm.
for some of our people, they needed privacy. They had to have a door to close and a
Right.
file cabinet to lock, but also preparing people that you need to have a schedule. You need to get up in the morning and do your regular things,
Yeah.
and you need to get ready. And for many of us as women, that means we need to get up. We need to do something with our hair, potentially our makeup if we're that human. I'm that human. And yeah, Annette and I like to get up, do our hair and makeup in the morning. And then, yes, get dressed, get ready like you're going to the office. Now, maybe you can wear the black leggings on the bottom and the nice blouse on the top. However, you need to show up. It changes the way you approach the work and the way you feel about yourself, Annette. Yes?
Absolutely. And the other side of the coin is we as humans, we are visual human beings. And
Yeah.
when we see an image, whatever that image might be, our mind is going through a process and we're trying to discern, that's an interesting top that woman has on. Wow, look at that color. Wow, that really looks great. Wow, what is she thinking? And we are discerning through that, trying to figure out that person.
Yeah.
And, that kind of flows into something I also really believe in and do teach. And it's about being intentional.
Yeah.
Intentionality of how do you want others to view you? What do you want others to know about you
Yeah.
versus just putting on the black shirt, the black pants, and say, you know what, this is good for the day, is being very intentional and using the psychology of style and texture and color and
Yeah.
pattern, because that's a piece of the feng shui. Fashion
Yeah.
feng shui is, we've never really been taught that, but
Yeah.
stripes, as you're saying, do have a meaning. And if I were to put a group of people and we were to go, so tell me what you're kind of reading with what she has on, people subconsciously would have an opinion.
Right.
Or if you had a, very bright pink. So if you go on my website, that's part of my branding. It's a
Yeah.
very bright pink.
Yeah.
And it speaks, for me, the reason I chose it speaks passion. And that's a big piece of it, is the
Yeah.
passion that I
Sure.
have. But
Sure.
what do blues say?
Yeah.
So there's a very psychology
Yeah.
of all of that many people don't think about until I bring it to the forefront.
Sure.
And we can use that in situations of the
Yeah.
kinds of people that we're speaking with. Or are you going on stage to speak? Are you speaking with a very introverted person? Are you speaking with a
Yeah.
very extroverted? So it's a very interesting concept of how you can really use personal style as a communication tool.
Yeah. No, I think that that's actually really important, and it's something that we don't often pay a great deal of attention to.
Yeah.
So I love that you've brought that up. And I was going to ask you more about the fashion feng shui. I think that's such an interesting concept. Will you tell us a little bit about what that is, Annette?
Okay. So I'm in a little nutshell
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
So I even just have to give this little backstory of being a certified image consultant with the
yeah.
International Image Consultant Association. I got this email and it says, "Would you like to participate, or would you like to sign up for this workshop?" And I was like, "What is that?" And I realized there was a book. So I got the book. I literally read it in 48 hours and I went, "Oh my gosh, this is exactly the missing link I feel like I've had in my business." And
Wow.
I knew that it was part of personal style. So what it starts with, and I'm going to simplify this, is I have really fashioned my business around this is personal style starts with the essence of the woman.
Yeah.
The essence, the authenticity of who are you? What do you who are you? I mean, are you this woman who stands for, are you super creative and you just love this novelty?
Yeah.
Or are you this sporty kind of woman? You just get things done, you're very competitive.
Yeah.
Are you a woman who loves to be seen? And you're so okay with bright colors and bright patterns? Or are you a woman who's very refined and you really value quality and excellence? And what it did for me, and not only for myself, but it to help me to help clients to really claim that authenticity, because most women look to the outside of how I should dress. We look to Pinterest, we look to the fashion icons, we look to
Yeah.
others to give us permission on how we should dress.
Right.
And what it taught me was why I tend to gravitate toward those things. Why is this so important to me? And I
Yeah.
found out it's the essence of who I am. And it's given me that permission to really claim that and not apologize for it, because I am that woman of excellence. I am that woman who likes to be polished, who
Right.
likes refinement. Do I tell other women they have to be that? Absolutely not. In fact, I love it so much. A woman just wrote, who went through my group program, just put a comment on LinkedIn, and she said, "I've been following Annette for so long, but I knew she wasn't like me. I loved what she said, but I knew she wasn't like me, and she was almost afraid to become in my group because she thought I was going to try to make her like me." And as she
Interesting.
said, I did everything. It was so of complete opposite. Is my passion is understanding you. I have a client I've been working with for a long time, and I'll never forget it. When we first started, she's a financial advisor. And one of the things she told me when we started working together, she goes, "I'm a really fun person.
Yeah.
I'm like that person who that girlfriend who I'm kind of loud and I'm the one who's in the group." And I said, "Oh," I go, "it sounds like we need to add some fun into your wardrobe." And she kind of sat, she's like, "What are you talking about? Like, I'm a financial planner. I'm supposed to be," she considered herself like this buttoned up, very conservative banker. And that's how she would
Right.
describe herself.
Right.
And I kept trying and I kept working with her. I'm like, "We're going to uncover this because it's there. I know it's there." And for her to feel so confident in her clothing, we
Yeah.
had to uncover it. And when I saw her, we were on Zoom the other day, and I'm like, "Oh my," I was just so elated. She had on red and some
Oh,
pattern and this
Annette,
beautiful
I'm
gold.
sorry. I gotta pause for a second. Someone just rang the doorbell. Hang on.
Okay, okay.
We'll have to cut that out. Hi. Hi. Sorry, we'll have to edit that out. Say that again for me. I apologize.
No worries. So I met with my client on Zoom the other day, and she came to our appointment, and she had on this beautiful red blouse, had this like tiger print. I know it sounds kind of outrageous. It was so beautiful, so elegant. She had it on with gold jewelry. It was so aligned with who her elements in fashion feng shui.
Love
And
it.
she didn't see that 2 years ago. It's been really a process to help her own that and
Yeah.
uncover it, and for her to go, "Oh my gosh, this is so me." And the confidence then just naturally oozes. It's just
Yeah.
so natural when you
Yeah.
can see it and you can claim it.
I love that because the outside matches the inside.
Yes.
Of course,
Yes.
it's going to increase your confidence, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I think what a beautiful story that she's really been able to embrace that and bring that. Listen, I mean, I think we all have that exterior that we want to portray. And particularly, I mean, you think about the banker pinstripe, right? You think about lots of politicians wear blue because blue inspires calm confidence.
Yep.
In all reality, we also need to be able to reflect who we truly are with some of these elements. And so I love that that's a part of this fashion feng shui is that we get to bring ourselves
Yep.
out even more.
And we want to see that person as the other person
Yeah.
on the other side
Yeah.
of the table, right?
Yeah.
It just, again, it's so subconscious, but it tells us something about that person.
Yeah.
So that essence is part of the feng shui. Your body type, yes, the exterior is
Yeah.
part of that.
Sure.
Um, your coloring, your natural coloring is part of it. Your lifestyle is part of it. Like, what
Sure.
is your lifestyle? And then the last piece is the intentionality, is being very intentional about what is that story you want to tell about yourself. So you kind of put all those
Yeah.
pieces together and you create a wardrobe that intertwines all of it. And then you are able to go to your wardrobe, your closet, and go, oh my gosh, I love my wardrobe because I've taken time to be very intentional about what I shop for, what are those colors, what are those textures and styles I want to add, and what is that story I want to tell the world.
Well, and I think that's the other part too. You just mentioned it in passing, but for many of us, time is even more valuable than money, right? That's one of the things that is absolutely precious. We can't manufacture time. We can always go make more money. And when we have to go shopping, and I love to shop. Like, don't get me wrong. I grew up in that family. That was what we did for fun. But when you do go shopping, it can be overwhelming and confusing. You're right. There's lots of different influences. What's trendy? What's the zeitgeist? What are the Kardashians wear? Like all of that stuff. When you know what your colors look like, when you know what is going to be reflective of who you are and how you want to show up in the world, it's going to make that shopping experience so much easier, so much more effective.
Yep.
You're going to invest in clothing that you just said you feel great about.
Yep.
I mean, I love the idea of when you have pieces that you can mix and match in meaningful ways so
Yep.
that you don't have to feel like you're wearing the same thing every single day. Nobody likes that. Well, unless you're one of those people who just wears black. I mean, that's a thing.
Hey,
But
and I'm not saying, you know what? I
yeah,
always say this. I'm not putting down black. I actually love black, but it's wearing black because it's
yeah,
it's a default. And
yes,
and that's what I don't, that's what I want to get women out of is that it's not a default for you. You're choosing it because and you're bringing it into your
yeah,
wardrobe with a lot of intention.
because it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we all love to wear, you have right behind you, you won't be able to see this on the podcast, but that classic little black dress. And then
Yes.
how do you layer on a necklace, a scarf, a belt, even some additional accessories? How do you do that in a way that makes that dress reflect how you feel today? Also, the event that you might be attending, make it comfortable. Is it heels? Is it runners? Because you're going shopping, you're throwing on a jean jacket. Like I really appreciate this. This makes just so much sense to me. And also that it reflects, yeah, what's your lifestyle? Because if you're running a daycare, you're not wearing a little black dress. you're you're going to be wearing something very different because that you're running a childcare facility, right?
Absolutely. And you know what's really cool, Lindsay, is I remember before COVID, one of the big things women would say to me, they go, I want some cute, comfortable shoes. That was
The thing.
the,
Yeah.
the thing. Cute, comfortable shoes. And the cool thing is COVID has really brought out brands and designers is that whole, I mean, my lifestyle has changed. I mean, I'm not going to all the events that I used to go to. And
Oh,
so I really want those cute, comfortable shoes. And it's out there now. I mean, the options now have just so expanded
totally, totally,
since COVID because our lifestyle is different. We aren't
totally.
all going to the office anymore.
Yeah.
Yes. Or you kind of have that hybrid, right?
Hybrid, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that that's really important. Our wardrobe needs to reflect our hybrid lifestyle,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
I want to say something controversial because I want to get your hot take on it. So
Okay.
my mother always said, just because it comes in your size doesn't necessarily mean you need to wear it. And I think for many of us, I mean, I'm a woman over 45. A lot of the women that listen to this show are in that space. A lot of the fashion that we see is really geared towards, I would say, even a 20-year-old or under. And that just because they make it in the size that fits does not mean that it is necessarily something that I need to be trying on just because it's trendy. What are your thoughts around that? Annette, what do you think?
This is funny. I just had a client reach out kind of about this, and I'm in that age group also, 50 and above. And I think I start with the extremes when I say like all the skin showing, like,
Yeah.
okay, you know, like, okay, you know what? It's kind of that saying, love, I want you to look amazing at 55 versus thinking you need to look 25.
Uh,
But I do have a really strong opinion about this is I'm going to tell you, I start with the personality.
yeah, yeah.
And I really do because I have women who are professional, 50 some years old, and they want that alluring, a little bit of sexy in their
Yes,
wardrobe, but
totally.
it may look different at
Yes.
55 than it does at 25. So I really want you to identify who you are and feel so confident in your strengths and who you are and begin with personality versus age. And I know women I mean, there's so much like, what should women over 50 wear? What should women over
Right?
60 wear?
Yeah.
And it's like I'm finding my daughter-in-law who's 30 is looking to me going, "Where'd you get that dress at? Wow, I really like those shoes you have on." And I'm kind of giggling underneath, like, wow, she's liking these things I'm wearing. And so I think it's the extremes of
Yeah.
trying to be somebody you're not.
Yes.
But there are
Yeah.
ways that you can wear, like I love an off the shoulder. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm saying if you're 50 or 60, who says? I mean, there's a lot of that peasant off the shoulder. I love it.
Yeah.
So I wear it. There's some women that love the asymmetrical
Oh,
shoulder.
yes.
I'm not saying you can't wear it. I think when you put too many of those pieces together, I think I would even start with maybe you do an asymmetrical off the shoulder with a really cool jean versus something trying to put too many trendy pieces together. I
Yeah.
think sometimes too much of it. Maybe start with one piece, put it with your classics, start with that, and then
Yeah.
start building off of that. So I'm going to be honest. I'm not saying that you can't wear certain styles. I am really not.
No, I thank you for that. I put you on the spot a little bit, but I really appreciate the
And
conversation because I think you're right. It goes back to who are you? What's important to you? How are you looking to feel inside? And then also match that up with how you want to portray yourself outside. What's the story you're trying to tell here?
yeah,
And just being you, not trying
yeah,
to be anybody else.
yeah,
Be who
yes,
you are.
yeah.
Embrace the beauty that is you. I think that that's actually really critical.
And it's not always easy. I think it's a process. I know this because I find it my clients is it is a process to give yourself permission. There's a permission. You're thinking because we have these voices, that same client I was talking about that loves a little alluring sexiness in her wardrobe, who is the financial advisor, as she
Yeah.
will tell you, I grew up with a mother who told me the fashion rules. Like, these are the rules. You can't do this, you can't do this, but you can do this. And many of us did grow up like this.
Yeah, sure.
And fashion has come so far with all the rules of even the mixing and matching, like way
Yeah.
back when. No, you don't mix two patterns, and or you don't mix metals,
No
or
white shoes after Labor
yeah,
Day,
no white
right? Like
shoes
that's a
after
perfect
Labor Day,
example.
no white jeans. I mean, there were so
Yeah.
many rules, and
Yeah.
all those rules are
Wow.
so passe, if you will. They
Totally.
really are.
Totally. Well, and I think the important part here is what underpins all of this, and that you've said it a couple times, but I want to really drive this point home that this is about confidence. This is about authenticity. This is about you feeling good from the inside out. It
Yes.
isn't
Yeah.
actually about what you're wearing or a very small proportion of it.
Yeah.
That's the
Sometimes
that's
it
the
is.
yeah, that's the physical representation of it, but
Yeah.
it really is about the confidence on the inside.
Yes.
That's the key
Yes.
here, yes?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
There's that personality that you sometimes, okay, I'm gonna use the cheerleader in high school who loved to be seen in the colors, and she's got a big personality. And you see her wear these bright colors, and sometimes you go, wow, that's a lot. But you know what? She's just expressing herself. It's
Yeah,
when you can start understanding that women are just expressing themselves and that is who they are, there
yeah,
becomes also a lot more acceptance of
yeah,
acceptance of others,
yeah,
that self-acceptance. It's a very interesting kind of domino effect that starts happening.
sure it
It's
is.
not just for ourselves. Yeah.
100%. I think you're so right. We spread that. I mean, a lot of the work that I do as a coach is with clients really talking about, yeah, what is important to you? What do you value the most? Right? What does it mean to be authentically you? Who is that? And for many of us, man, we get caught up in our daily lives and sometimes we lose track of what that is. Well, no wonder. No wonder we don't know what to put on our bodies. We don't even know what's going on inside. And then
That
you know,
is
it's
that
just
is so true.
so true.
That's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's crucial to, is developing that understanding of what does it mean to be me? Who do I want to be?
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
know, I used to have people, and I used to this was I want to say this, I think this was before fashion feng shui, which has been about almost 10 years ago. But I remember people, and here I'm in this image business, and people would come up to me at an event and they go, "Why are you so dressed up?" That people said it to me all the time. "Why are
Oh,
you so dressed up?" And I'm like, "I'm dressed appropriate for the situation."
yeah.
There's a couple things going on. Is I think they felt underdressed
Oh,
and
yes.
I looked overdressed to them.
Yes.
The other piece that I had to come to terms with on my end is one of my values is excellence. And so I do come, and as you probably see, I do have this polished excellence feel of
Yes.
quality,
Yes.
but it's who I am. And I've had to come to accept it and
Yeah.
not and feel like, well, this is who I am. And when you can just go, well, this is who I am. And I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be somebody. I'm not, this is
Yeah.
who I am.
Yeah.
And it has taken time when people would say, and I finally understand now why they say that.
100%. 100%. And let me just be clear because you all are listening to this. Every time I have connected with Annette, she is beautifully turned out. Like there's absolutely no doubt that. And but I really love this conversation because, again, a lot of the work I do focuses on what are your values? And then with my clients, how do those values show up in the business you're trying to build? And so and what Annette does is that she demonstrates how important excellence is to her by the way that she physically represents herself. And she's always immaculately turned out. But I think that's really key is we can understand how our values impact our behaviors, impact the way we dress, impact the way we speak.
Yes.
I actually think that's such a cool layer to this conversation around what do I care about most? What are my values?
Yes. Oh, that number one. Yes,
Thanks.
absolutely. And you would, I'll say, what do values have to do with fashion, right?
Everything, apparently.
Most people would say that. Most people like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
In my world, they have everything to do with
No.
and I
Yes.
refer to it as you're really developing, and this is what I help women
Yeah.
do, is I'm helping you develop your personal style
Yes.
because
Yes.
you are, I want to read this. I just wrote this down the other day. How we're always kind of refining who is my ideal client and who
Yeah.
are they? And I was thinking about clients that I'm currently working with, and I'm like, they are women who live life to the fullest and they want to feel and look good doing it.
Yeah.
I actually had a client, this was something that she had shared with me. And I thought, wow, you know what? That is who I attract. And
Yeah.
I love that. They're amazing women doing
I
amazing things and they want to look good doing it.
yeah. Yeah.
But it all we're packaging ourselves. It's part of that big pie, right? Your
Yeah, sure
clothing,
it is.
your clothing isn't everything. Like you said, it's our values, it's our
Yeah.
lifestyle, it's our leadership, it's our
Yeah.
personal style. I put that in the pie of who we are as that powerful woman.
And that authentic woman, you've used that word
Yes,
several times. And I think that
yes,
that is so key because when we are truly authentically ourselves, when we are deeply grounded in what do I care about most? What do I want to create in the world? That is confidence.
yeah.
And that then we can be confident leaders in our businesses. We can be confident leaders in our life because hey, listen, if you're part of your family, especially if you're a mom, you're leading. Whether you like it or not, you're a leader. We lead in our communities, right? We show up and we lead beautifully in such an incredible variety of situations. We can be way more effective when we feel confident and when we display that confidence through what we're wearing. I really love that. I really love that the way you articulated that, Annette.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's kind of if you can it's in my soul.
Your passion for this is absolutely evident. And I do think that for many of us, it is important. We want to show up and represent ourselves in what we do and what we say and how we appear so that we can have the impact we deeply desire to have. That's what we want.
Absolutely. And when you say that word impact, I
Yeah.
mean, think about how many times have you walked into an event, whether it's a meeting or it's a networking event, and you see that person on the other side of the room and you go, wow, that's a sharp woman. Wow, I want to get to know her. There's just something she's just exuding, like she's not, you don't even know who she is, right? And you're
Yeah.
thinking that, ooh, I want to get to know that person. And sometimes we don't talk about it enough about that is our first impression. I mean, I kind of grew up with that about making that first impression, but it's not left. It's part of our humanism. It just does. It's an
Yeah.
image
It
that
it
we see a person and that's all we got. That's all we have to know about them is seeing what they're wearing.
you know what? I mean, I think that that is really true. We're judgment machines. Our brains make a
Yeah.
gajillion little judgments
Yep.
every single
Yep.
day.
Yep.
And so you're right, the visual impact is crucial. Now, we are not saying, to be clear, Annette and I are not saying that you need to run out and buy an entirely new haute couture wardrobe. That is not what we're talking about,
Yes.
right? It really is about thinking carefully about who you are and what you care about most and how you can portray that authentically, and then creating a wardrobe that is a reflection of that. And likely
Beautiful. Yep.
you probably have a ton of stuff in your closet already today that is a big part of that.
Absolutely.
But really thinking about that carefully, it's going to impact your confidence. It's going to impact the way you show up. And I think that that's crucial. Yeah.
You said it beautifully,
Thank you.
Lindsay. No, you just kind of brought it all together. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
I love it. Annette, thank you so much. This has been a really interesting conversation today. I loved unpacking this idea of confidence and authenticity in terms of sort of our wardrobe and what we wear and how we can do that. Now, how can people find you? Where do they go to check out what you do, Annette?
So my website is AnnetteBond.com. And I'm not sure when you're going to be airing this, but I'm pretty excited. One of the things I'm doing it just twice a year, and it's coming up. It's a 4-day style experience. It's free. It's online. It starts August 26th. It's a Monday. And I did it last spring. So I'm just doing it in the spring and doing it in the fall as we come in. And it's a
Yeah.
perfect opportunity to kind of start taking those baby steps and start learning, like, what does that look like for me? So they can go to AnnetteBond.com, and it's under 4-day free style experience. So I'd love for
Love
you to
that.
join me.
You know what? Okay, I really appreciate you offering that. Thank you. What a great way to kind of get your feet wet. And if this isn't something that you've ever thought a lot about before, what a great way to just explore and
Yeah.
play and do it
Yeah.
in a way that is, low commitment. I love that. Okay,
Yep.
so we'll make sure that everybody gets to hear about it. Annette, such a pleasure to have you here today. And if you want to explore your personal values, if that's something that you aren't sure, that you really understand, that you maybe have lost some of those values, I have a great resource on my website that you can download to explore your values, and you can go to highvoltageleadership.ca to find that. And we'll make sure that we link all of this in the show notes so you can scroll down really easily and find it. But Annette, thank you. What a great conversation.
Thank you. I was honored to talk about it. I love it. I love just spreading that to women, letting
Yeah,
them, yeah,
yeah,
think more about that and the impact it really does make in their business world.
100%. Yes. Thank you for bringing all your passion to the show.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.